Coronel is a Dakar regular, but this year it's all very different. Something's missing. Something very important.
Yeah, this year alone. 2007 together with my girlfriend, 2009 together with Tommy, my twin brother. Yeah, and if you come closer to yourself, it's by yourself, so alone.
It's a brand new buggy from Alistair McRae's team, and they're incredibly light, so shouldn't really get stuck in the sand. They only weigh 700 kilograms. It's all very new, but the question is, will it get to the finish?
Of course, can this buggy finish Dakar? Only you have to drive carefully, because yeah, it's like a lady, and yeah, you have to be nice to the lady, then she will be nice for you.
It's got a snowmobile engine, but it's got no gearbox.
Then we go to the back because this car has something special. It has a Variomatic transmission. So you only have to push throttle or brake.
So what else, Tom, is different?
Yeah, you're apart with nature, of course, because there's no window in it. And seat in the middle. It's perfect for the weight. Of course, here is always the road book in. It's a bike road book in a car. Oh, what is also special for the buggy is there's a lot of dust, of course, with Dakar. So I have a helmet with a system in it that blows air in the helmet. So there's always like more pressure in the helmet, so the dust cannot flow in. Dakar adventure. Dakar is like the feeling with all the other competitors, and yeah, it's crazy, but it's against the elements of nature and technique, of course.
The second stage of the 2010 Argentina-Chile Dakar, under wet conditions at the start line of the stage that started near Cordoba en route to La Rioja. Bit of a delay actually, about 30 minutes before Spain's Nani Roma got the green flag and charged into the stage with the BMW X3. Very slippery conditions. Now, all of the car drivers, they have to use only one specific type of tyre for the whole rally, and everybody, bar a couple of people, have got sand tyres, and that was a problem for Nani Roma, because as he came into the blind right-hander, he just edged it off the road, and over did the BMW go, and so lucky was the Spaniard not to roll a second time, because he could have gone on and ended up in the bottom of the valley. The overall leader of the Dakar rally falls off the stage, rolls his car, and he's stuck off the stage after only 3 kilometres. Now, it's not as if Roma is inexperienced. He's won the Dakar on 2 wheels, and also, well, the BMW crew, they know the kind of conditions that are there. But then look at this. As Roma is trying to get out, all he does is then put a rock underneath the front left-hand side of the car, and he completely beaches it. And all this time, the clock is ticking, and other cars are coming through and past him on the stage. And if ever you need some grunt, it's now that you need it. Barreling over the rocks, crashing over the hardcore, and eventually getting out of the stage and onto the road. And just as he came back onto the road, so did Janil de Villiers nearly touch the back of the X3. And de Villiers, of course, seizes the opportunity and gets past Nani Roma immediately. Now, Roma eventually got to the finish of the stage, but he was down in 18th position. He lost 15 minutes. Here is Argentine hero Orlando Terranova, Pascal Maimon sitting alongside him, and they're coming up to exactly the same corner. You're right, exactly the same thing happened. Terranova falling off the road with the Mitsubishi 3 litre, and he tumbled into the greenery. I don't know, you wait for a bus and 2 come along at the same time. Maimon out of the car, Terranova in the car, but fortunately the Mitsubishi wasn't in such a precarious position than the BMW of Nani Roma was. Soon Terranova got back onto the stage, and even there you can see the example of how slippery it is, just like being on ice. Terranova amazingly got to the finish of the stage, 10th position. He only lost 10 minutes to the stage victor. That's impressive. Murky conditions for everybody, but it was no problem for the Brazilian, the brand new driver in the Volkswagen squad, Mauricio Neves. He rattled through the stage. He was leading at the checkpoints, CP1, CP2. Obviously not really shy of the conditions, and in the end Neves getting to the finish line to get third today. He's fifth in the overall standings. Carlos Sainz didn't actually make it here to La Rioja 12 months ago because it was to this stage where he rolled it and crashed out of the rally last year. He's up to second in the overall standings. It's a 1-2 for the Volkswagens because Nasser Al-Attiyah has been victorious on today's stage and he is now the new overall leader here in La Rioja. Janil de Villiers, he slipped a little today, the South African, 8th on the stage, even though he was almost within touching distance of our helicopter. He's 6th in the overall standings. Conditions were still wet at the start of the stage for 9-time Dakar victor Stefan Perhansel. Jean-Paul Cotre's co-driver sitting to his right-hand side and ready to guide him through this second stage down to La Rioja. Look how difficult it is for Perhansel, but if anybody's got a wise head on its shoulders, it's the Frenchman. Moving from Mitsubishi now into the BMW, thousands of kilometers of testing, and they've really got the suspension, the gearbox, the traction and the differential setup absolutely to a T. Perhansel, he's now up to third overall. He's only 2.5 minutes behind the brand new Dakar leader Nasser Al-Attiyah. Gerland Schischerit lost 58 minutes yesterday. He started 109th on the road this morning, but rattled through at rapid pace. Second quickest on the stage today. Quicker, I'm afraid to say, than Robbie Gordon. Robbie Gordon, well, if he's got two-wheel drive and the others have got four-wheel drive, then Gordon was always going to be in trouble with those sand tyres with the Hummer. The Hummer may be lighter than the four-wheel drive competitors, but with that rear-wheel drive he was always going to be in trouble. Gordon 9th in the overall standings. Christoph Polovic had a good run through the stage. He was 12th fastest this afternoon. So the second stage being won by Nasser Al-Attiyah ahead of Gerland Schischerit rattling through from the back. Neves, Sainz and Mark Miller getting 5th on the stage today. Al-Attiyah leading overall from Sainz, Perhansel, Miller and Neves.
When we came very technical part and we push and we catch him and we pass, but after I see Carlos dust and I push a little bit, just at least make it good time, for this stage. But it's everything okay and I'm quite happy today. Tomorrow will be difficult, open the stage.
Danny Roma saying it was a very difficult stage because you couldn't really get a rhythm. At the start, I didn't really read the road at all, and then in those early kilometres, the car went off the road and I went into a hole. I'm really happy to be here now. I had problems with the temperature. The intercooler was slightly damaged. Tomorrow morning, though, I'm still going to be here and I'm happy.
Contento de estar aquí, de estar enteros y mañana más.
A better day for the trucks on stage 2 of the Dakar 2010. All sorts of problems on the opening stage down to Cordoba. Many of the big boys of the desert were held up on the stage after all sorts of dramas. Jan Lammers, one of the big names who rolled it off the road, but Lammers managed to get back on the road and he managed to start today's stage. Alas Laprace in the Tatra was very lucky to get away with this moment. How in heaven's name he didn't roll it, but it just gives you some example of how slippery it was. Never mind if you're driving a 12-ton truck. He got away with it. I mean, not rolling it, but he had a puncture, so Le Prace in all sorts of trouble, and that's big news because Le Prace started the day second in the overall standings and only 27 seconds behind the leading Kamaz, Vladimir Shigin. Now, passing truck by truck is certainly not an option out there on these early stages. As we continue to travel west towards the foothills of the Andes, the conditions will change dramatically in the next couple of stages. But once more, Vladimir Shigin holding his own as the other Tatras were trying to chase down the leading Kamaz crews. Kabirov, the teammate to Shigin, he started the day third in the overall standings, and so did Mardi. How lucky are some of these guys not to roll it if you're in a Tatra, a Merc, or even a Kamaz. Next up is the third stage of this tremendous motorsporting extravaganza. We leave La Rioja. It's a special stage of just 182 kilometers towards Fiambala. Make sure you join us next time for more stunning Dakar action.